You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
In this episode, 752, we talk to four-star international rider Ashley Kehoe, who shares her behind-the-scenes experience of grooming at the Paris Olympics. Patty Maye's going to join us and share her experiences as a spectator at the Olympics. And Megan and I have a trainer tip preparing for regionals or the American Eventing Championships. This is Reese Koffler-Stanfield in Georgetown, Kentucky.
And I am Megan McIsaac from Oregon, Wisconsin, and you're listening to the Dressage Radio Show. Woohoo!
Hi, Megan. How are you this week?
Hey, Reese. I am surviving. It's been a rough
I feel the
week.
same. Yeah, I feel the same. My week started with my dog, Winston, who, as everybody knows, he records with us. He's right here, and he kind of stinks like skunk. That literally was my 6 a.m. on Monday, and everybody's feeling it. Yeah, I opened the door. I was like, smells like skunk, and boom, he was gone. I was like, are you kidding me? And I was going to go work out, and everyone knows, I love Coach Tony, love him. But the worst is not making workout, having to pay for workout, and scrubbing your dog who smells like skunk. So I'm surviving also. Everyone feels me. Anyone that lives on a farm is like, oh, yeah, I've been there. It was a joy. And everyone's like, you didn't get a water on him, did you? And I was like, well, I thought it was in his eyes. Like he wouldn't open his left eye. He was like freaking out. And yeah, I put water on him because I wanted to rinse his eyes out. That's all I cared about were his eyes. He's fine, but he's a little stinky. So we call him the Stinky Twinkie right now. I think he's going to smell like this for 2 months.
I love that picture you posted. I was like, that's exactly how I feel. And it keeps raining at every show. So I feel like a wet dog.
Yeah, you feel like my dog. I posted it Monday morning. I was like, it's a Monday morning. And everyone's like, I feel you. Everyone felt me. It was so, I did feel the community. I appreciated it. But yeah, it is. I think right now, probably every trainer around is surviving.
Yeah.
Right? This is our go time. This is like Super Bowl, before the Super Bowl. And we also have the AECs here, which is the American Eventing Championships. That's next week. So I have the AECs and I have a ton of people going there, which is great, but we're getting them ready. And then we have a week off and then we have regionals.
Oof.
So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's great. I feel really good. And we're going to talk a little bit later in the show about sort of prepping for regionals. So hold tight on that. But I feel like everyone, we've done a good job prepping. Like I think sometimes you're like, oh, we're not ready. But I feel like, and we'll talk about this a little bit later too, but I feel like everyone's ready, but it does put a lot of stress on your trainer. So Megan and I will take Starbucks or Dunkin' or any kind of coffee you want to bring us.
A massage.
Take it. I don't even have time for massage, but I would take a massage. Like that sounds like a dream. Yeah, massage, or maybe just don't call me after 8.
Yeah. No text.
I'm turning my phone off. No text.
Yeah.
We're turning our phones off. It is go time, but we've had lovely, actually cool weather the last week. It's been delightful.
Been so hot here. It's hot.
It's coming back.
Humid.
Yeah.
I think we have a month and a half, and then it's our regionals. I'm going to Region 4 in October.
That's right.
So
you're not coming. I thought you were coming here, but I wish you were coming here. We'd have so much fun. But
I wish.
Finals.
Next year. Finals. We have a hot date. I'm excited.
Y'all, we're doing a meetup at finals. Just put that on your calendar. Megan and I, we're having a meetup. If no one comes, Megan and I will have a meetup. It's fine. We're excited. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, no, it's go time. So we actually have our regionals are soon. Our regionals will be there. Yeah, they're mid-September, which is early, which is nice. I actually like mid-September because that gives us some time to get ready for nationals and take a deep breath. And I get kind of a fall, which is, I don't know about you, but it's my favorite season. I'm ready for sweater weather, football, pumpkins, pumpkin spice. I'm ready. I'm ready for it all.
Yep, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for the flies to die.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm ready for it to not to be 2,000 degrees. Yeah, no, it's true. So we love it. I'm sure you all are just laughing at us right now, but it's exciting. It's a good summer, but summer is really busy. And
Sure.
we just had a great schooling show over the weekend. Megan, I took my baby horse and he was perfection. He was so good, y'all. I was so proud. I mean, I had been working for this all season to be able to take him, and he was so good. And I'm not going to lie, I had COVID and I was late to enter. I entered, it was the closing date, but they're like, the show's full. And I was like, of course, I had COVID. Like it was a lot. There was a lot going on. It's fine. I survived. I survived. No one else got it. I'm if anyone else
Only
has COVID
you.
right now, I feel you.
See, you
I don't know
needed
where.
a day off. That's why.
Well, yeah, but that's not how I want. It was during the Olympics, and I was an expert in kayaking and handball and like table tennis. Oh, I watched it all. I loved it. Snoop, I like had him on love him. I watched everything Snoop did. Yeah, I watched everything he did. It was so great. So I didn't maybe get on the waiting list. I was like, you know what? I'm taking this horse to the show. It was on my schedule. I had the time blocked out. And again, we talked about young horses and some of it's pain. Like, trust me, it would have been much easier to drive over to this little park in my car, but it was great. I hooked up my truck. We went. He was awesome. It was really good. I'm so glad I did it. And again, it comes down to that whole young horses take time.
Taking the time
and putting the hours in. And he was great. And it was I actually really had fun. Oh. And we didn't show, but there was an arena that was next to the show ring. And no one was in it. And I warmed up, and girl, I went over there and rode my test for myself. I would give myself a 70%. It was pretty solid.
Love it. I love it.
I was like, nothing bad happened. He was great. He listened to mommy. Okay, maybe my last center line was a little crooked, but in general, it was pretty good. So,
and just think how great next year is going to be.
Yeah,
you're going to rock it.
Yeah, I'm ready. I mean, I think that was for me. That was really what I wanted to do. Everybody, I will report back. We're going to regionals, and I did enter class, but Mom is really busy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how mommy's feeling by Saturday, because I have like 25 students. So
wow.
But Mary Rose, who came on the show, she is going to ride him. And I feel really good about that. Like, again, mommy's kind of stressed out. So she's going to take him. She can ride him around the horse park.
Yeah.
Get him some really good miles. And, I would also really like to ride him if it fits in my schedule at all. I will make it happen. And, I entered, but no pressure. If I go down the center line, great. If I don't, fine. It's a little bit how mommy's going to feel that day and how we're doing. But yeah, it was really good. So keep it up. Perfect. If you have young horses, I feel y'all. We're together. And at that time. Yeah. Yeah. So I love it. Well, we have a great update from USDF. I'm going to go ahead and read it because I want everybody to kind of hear what's going on at USDF. For those that didn't get their hands on the copy of the USDF book club that we have going on, Riding Through with Debbie McDonald, there's a link on the USDF book club website to give access to the digital version. So it's really important. If you weren't able to get the copy of the book, you can get the digital version. And Megan, I know you were working on this book. That was the good thing about COVID is I powered through it, and it was awesome. I'm
slacking.
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. We have time. Debbie's gonna, we're gonna do our interview and wrap up of the book club, but people have had trouble getting it. So check out that USDF book club website, and that will get you the digital copy. There's also a virtual education series on Monday, September 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the topic of the new rules for equipment and checking, hosted by Jean Krause, who is an FEI steward and registered dressage technical delegate, as well as the chair of the USDF Technical Delegate Committee. Registration will be available on the virtual education series page at the USDF website by the time the episode is released, so you can direct listeners here. So there you go, guys. You're going to go to the virtual education series at the USDF on their website. And this is great. So Megan, as you know, I sit on the USEF rules working group. So there are some new rules that are coming out that we want everybody to just hear about, right? So
perfect.
Basic TDs have to check 50% of the bridles at competitions. So Jean's going to talk about what that means for competitors and that type of thing. So take a look at that. listen to this, I'm going to try and log on too. Jean's wonderful and she has great information. And I think you guys will all like it. So that's our USDF update for now. So I think we have a fantastic show. We are going to come back with Ashley Kehoe, and you're going to hear all about her adventures at Versailles and at the Olympics as a groom.
Frequently asked questions, brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. Question: my friend was telling me that supplementing with omega-3 fatty acids decreased the level of inflammation in horses with arthritis. Is this true? Answer: yes. There have been several peer-reviewed studies that have shown that supplementation with the omega-3 fatty acids known as EPA and DHA will help support healthy levels of inflammation in the joints. The best source of EPA and DHA is fish oil. We often recommend adding a high-quality omega-3 fatty acid supplement, such as Kentucky Performance Products, contribute to the diet of horses who struggle with joint pain and stiffness. A KPP customer named Sarah recently posted a review sharing her experience with Contribute. She wrote, "I recently swapped my Western dressage and cow horses over to the Joint Armor and Contribute. Astonishing results! My horses are moving beautifully with more impulsion and suspension in their gaits." You can learn more about Contribute and omega-3 fatty acids EPA and DHA at kppusa.com. Got questions about your feeding program? We can help. Email Karen at questions@kppusa.com or call us at 859-873-2974.
Well, tonight I am so excited to have a friend of mine, a student, a colleague, all the things, Ashley Kehoe. She's an international event rider and was actually a groom at the Paris Olympics. Ashley, welcome to the show.
Reese, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here.
You're always the person we call on when we need eventer training tips. And so in your own right, you are technically a 4-star rider, but should be a 5-star rider in my book. You missed. Right. We had a wonderful horse that you and I trained together, and we missed Kentucky in 2020 because I didn't have it. So in my mind, you're 5-star.
Right. They canceled it.
They canceled it. We were ready to go in a 5-star.
All right.
So, yeah,
I got plenty of years ahead of me, so I'll be back there in the future.
That's my girl. That's my girl. I'm going to be right there with you. And so, Ashley, kind of give us a rundown. What have you been up to, girl?
Oh my goodness. Well, I am living full time down in Ocala, Florida. Which,
I miss you.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I really do. Anybody that's lucky enough to have summers in Lexington, Kentucky, that's the dream. Summers down here in Ocala, definitely you have to be strategic. You have to be a morning person, get up early and drink a lot of water. But so, yeah, I've been down here and it was really nice to go to Paris for the Olympics, Versailles, actually. It was a little break from the heat, which was nice. I was over there for 9 days, and it definitely was an adventure because the first day it was that CrowdStrike Delta whole technology explosion.
Yes. Oh, stop it!
Imagine me like so excited, ready to get out of Florida, and of course my first flight's delayed, and they're like, you might miss your connection in Atlanta. So I'm like, I am not missing. And they're like, the next flight is like 20 hours later. You'd have to like stay at I'm like, I'm going to make that flight. Well, so I run through the Atlanta airport, and I make it. My suitcase does not. So I get there.
Yeah, nothing.
I get there and I have my little like carry-on bag, which I was like, am I going to be okay? No. After this, I'm never going to just check a bag. Like you always have to have
a carry-on.
God, I'm going to like put a backpack on. Like I'll just strap it to my body. I don't know. So I get to Paris. My suitcase is lost. And actually because of this whole CrowdStrike thing, I didn't get my suitcase until the day before I left.
Stop it.
So basically being in Paris and I was like, being a groom and everything, I'm like, I'm going to bring my Brady things. I'm going to bring my little groomy things. And I was like, I'm going to have cute outfits because like it's the Olympics. You never know who you're going to meet. No, I basically got there and like met a couple of really nice girls at the barn where we were staying at Jardie. And I And they were like, let me see if I have an extra pair of riding pants. So I just, I like fully scrapped it for the first 5 days. And being a woman, like you're gone for a week, like you've got like your skincare and going into these stores. Imagine like looking on all these bottles of like, is this the right type of toothpaste? Is this the right type of skin cream? Because it's all in French and like, you don't know what you're buying. So it was really funny, but I made it. I was there. The site at Versailles was like a little pop-up village. So they had a temporary indoor arena. Yeah. So imagine you go to, and if you've ever been to like Pony Club championships, that's sort of the feeling because everybody is moving in. Everybody's excited to be there. They have these they had these big temporary barns that were air conditioned. And when you get there, they had this like army of people that came with 4-wheelers and trailers, and they just like took all your equipment and took it straight to your stalls. And you get there, and everybody had their stalls decorated with like banners and flags and for their country. Mm-hmm. And the barns were air conditioned. They had nice wash racks, and just the vibe. Everybody was so excited to be there. Even I don't know if you guys have heard about this thing at the Olympics, but everybody wants to trade pins from different countries. Yes. And it was the funniest thing. Like I'd be in the tack room cleaning a bridle, and these like 70-year-old men would pop in and be like, "Oh, hello, would you like to trade some pins?"
Stop it. Did you have pins
I'm
with
not
you?
kidding. Everybody. Oh, yeah. Because Ecuador gave me like a big swag bag of clothes and pins and stuff like that, which was really nice.
Did that make it? Did that make the Olympics? Like, did that come with a horse? Like, how did that get there?
No, Sebastian, the like team rep, I think he probably put it in his suitcase. His suitcase made it on the plane. Yeah. So the pins it was just really cute because it was everybody was really friendly and wanted to meet you and trade pins, and you could ask them where they're from, and that part was really nice. Or you could also call it like, when you move into college, the first week of college, like nobody has friends yet. So everybody wants to make friends. And so that sort of was the vibe too. And cause we were all bunked in, the grooms had our own hotel, and we were put 2 or 3 to a room. So it's basically like dorm rooms. Okay. And they had,
did you like your roommates?
Yeah, no, they were really sweet. And the rumors are true. They had like Olympic, like souvenir condoms on the side of the bedstand. Okay. Like, what? They had condoms out. They had, it's true. It's so true. Yeah. They were like, oh my God.
What is happening?
And the funniest part about it.
Did you get the cardboard bed?
Yeah. Yeah. It was all like cardboard beds.
Was it
the bed was comfortable? Okay. But it was on these like tiny little pegs. So the rumor is that like most, 50% of the beds were like knocked off the pegs by the end of the Olympics.
We don't want to know anymore. But
yeah.
So, but it was comfortable because that was, everyone was like, it's not comfortable. It's whatever. So that's crazy.
No, it was fine. But we were, so all of the equestrian events were 40 minutes away from the Olympic Village.
Okay.
So it was a little bit different. And I did get to go to the Olympic Village, which
what is that like?
It was
like. Tell us more.
It was just like walking into your first week at college. Like there's so many dorms. The dorms are all decorated, for different countries. You've got like your mess hall, you've got your gym, you've got your like lounge area. And again, everybody's running around asking people for pins. So it's like the perfect
Hey, that was there
right?
too.
Like, hey, got any pins?
Wow. Stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
What was
that was nice.
What was your what's the memory that sticks out the most?
Oh gosh. I think on the final day watching show jumping and just seeing the caliber of horses and the caliber of riders and getting to see, Laura Collette had the most magical dressage test, and I got to see her. And you would never know she wasn't a straight dressage rider. Same thing with Michael Young. You'd never know they're not straight dressage riders, and they're amazing to watch cross country. And then the third day, you're there watching them show jump, and you're like, these riders could be straight show jump riders. Like they're amazing. So
tell us.
Yeah, I think watching like Boyd Martin, the American, had a phenomenal show jump round. And for me, I was rooting for Shadow Man a little bit, just because I'm a big fan of Chris Burton, and I think it's an amazing talent to just hop on a horse like 4 months before the Olympics.
Tell that story, because
qualify.
maybe our dressage show may not know that story. What's that story?
Okay. Well, there's an event rider in England named Ben Hobday who has this amazing horse named Shadow Man, and his friend Chris Burton, who rides for Australia. But Chris Burton is also, like, he was 5th at the Rio Olympics. He's a really talented rider in all 3 phases. And Ben Hobday said, "Hey mate, why don't you I think you're an amazing rider. I think this is the best horse in the world. I want to give him the best shot at showing what he can do." So Ben handed the reins over to his friend. And you want to talk about like that level of excellence as a rider. Chris Burton took over the ride, and he ended up getting the silver medal on that horse.
Wow.
And it like gave me goosebumps. It was just,
seriously,
to have that level of skill and confidence in yourself, and be able to just, mesh with a horse and guide it and bring out the best in it. Like, wow, it was
and
so
actually
inspiring.
Tell everybody about the dressage test, because if you weren't sort of in the eventing, I'm lucky because I coach eventers and I knew a little bit about, but that's a special test, right? And it's really difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely harder than, I think it's harder than the 5-star test.
Yeah, easy.
It's got just the movements, you've got to pick up the counter straight going to a corner. Like, there's a lot of
to changes, to like essentially tempi changes. It's
hard.
Can you tell everybody it's a special test just for the Olympics, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it's get everybody through, right? I think that's why they use it. Like, you guys don't use that dressage test ever except for the Olympics, right?
Yeah. No, that is correct. And then they do have 2 rounds of show jumping as well at the Olympics for event riders. So it's not like your normal just 3-day event. I think
it's like a 5-day event. Just saying, it's like a 5-day.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot on the horses to do the dressage test, the full cross country, and then do not 1 meter 30 show jump round, but 2 if you're trying to get an individual medal. Yeah. So the horses that jump 2 rounds is just like, wow, it's amazing.
How do they do it? And the cross country course looked amazing. Like, just from, obviously I didn't see it in person, but from the video and TV. Tell us about the cross country course, because it was gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. That was also one of my favorite parts, walking around. They built it on the grounds of Versailles, which gave the world a beautiful spectacle, but made the riders a little bit nervous, because it rained for a day and a half. It poured. And, at other venues like Kentucky or Badminton or Burley, the courses have been there for years. So how to manage the course, put enough rocks down, what it's going to be like. Well, at Versailles, they never had a test event there. So the riders never got to see how the footing would handle the rain, the different, in the open, the grass is a little bit more firm, but under the woods and the shady parts, it's more slippery and muddy. And so there were quite a few horses. The man that I groomed for as well, his horse in the woodsy area, they had a combination with 3 elements and a sharp turn between the second and third element. And the horse his hind legs just slipped, because I think they just, in that instance, it was maybe not everybody, but definitely made it a little bit more of a challenge, because it was like, they don't know how the ground's going to be. And
yeah, it's crazy, but it looked very, very pretty. And there were a lot of people, right, that showed up.
Oh my God, the crowds were so huge, and the way that they cheered for the French riders really was fun. They really got into it, both in the stands and for the cross country. It was really, really awesome.
What an experience! Would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely. And just a couple fun takeaways, like for the for the French, I was really surprised at how many people smoke over there. It's very different than the U.S. We are way more healthier in the in the smoking department. I'm like, don't you guys know? Like, this is not good for you. And then the one other thing, they really aren't into the coffee culture like we are. Like, they didn't really have coffie available. And I was like, it was so hard for me. I like my coffee in the morning and coffee around 2:00, and they didn't really have it available until the show started. And then you had to go to the grandstands and wait in line for a coffee. like this could be better, but yeah, no, I'd totally do it again. And what I loved too was I saw a few of the riders go to the wash racks with their horses and hold the horses where because they didn't have cross ties, right? So would hold the horses and you're there with one horse, and it was really fun. The dressage riders too, would go and hold the horse while the groom gave it a bath.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about what you saw on the dressage side. Give us some intel.
I at Hardy, they had a bunch of the dressage riders come over early and stay there, and a lot of the stallions really like to make their presence known. There was one stallion from Spain that was, they were just such magnificent animals to see up close and personal. And I'm pretty sure they used probably 4 boxes of hair dye on Glamourdale. The horses.
I'm so glad you told that. I was going to ask you.
For sure they got dye.
He's gorgeous. Whatever they do, I don't care.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I dye my horses' tails just because if you turn them out in the sun, they're going to get sun bleached. But yeah, I mean, just the care for the horses, seeing Glamourdale up close, and some of the others too. I got to kind of see the dressage team horses jog up, and yeah, it was just I was totally fangirling for sure.
I love it. Well, girl, I can't wait to the day that you are riding at the Olympics because, obviously I'm going, but I'm coming too. But what a great experience, and so much fun. By the way, did you see the farmer's market that I've been told about that was there? I hear at Versailles.
I did. Well, I did at Versailles. Yeah, we actually went to the farmers market. Yeah, I mean it was just like the farmers market you would see here in the U.S. Only there was a lot more cheese and a lot more bread and a lot more salami. They're all about their charcuterie for sure. Over there.
So am I. I need to go to France. This is it. I should have been there. I've heard about it. Everyone trolled me, and I kept getting pictures because everyone knows my secret love of farmers market. And I was like, this is not a nice troll. Quit it, And then I would get someone else that would send me. I got 4 people that were over there that sent me the farmers market. I was like, oh my God, and that looks like heaven. I want to go right now. So I love it.
No, I would definitely recommend. I mean, if you ladies have the opportunity to go to the London Olympics, it's just so special seeing the best horses in the world all at one place.
Yeah.
It's
amazing. It's amazing.
Magical.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much.
Thank you.
How can our listeners find you online if they find themselves in Ocala? In the summer, Ashley's there. In the winter too. How can they find you online?
Yes, absolutely. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and all that.
Great.
It'd be great.
Well, thanks so much, Ashley. It was amazing, and we can't wait to keep cheering you on your adventures as well.
Savvy Feeder is the pasture hay feeder made with the industry's best poly materials and is safe on teeth, lips, and gums. It is freestanding, it's safe for shod horses, and enables horse owners to slow feed hay in a low, natural foraging position anywhere. I use mine every day. Bingo is currently eating out of it right now. The Savvy feeders are faster to fill than hay nets or bags. They make hay meals typically last hours longer, mimicking foraging for grass, keeping the GI tract active, and that will save you money. There are 3 great sizes to accommodate all hay types. Savvy feeders are invented, assembled, and distributed by horse people for horse people in the U.S. There's a 30-day, 100% customer satisfaction guarantee, and replacement parts are available, meaning your feeders last for many years.
And of course, Reese, you can find them at savvyfeeder.com. That's SAVVY feeder.com.
Well, tonight I am so excited to have our friend of the show, Patty Maye, international rider, trainer, judge, on the show. Hi, Patty. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. It's always fun to be here and do this.
We love
So,
having
there you go. I love it.
And you're here because I'm so jealous. You were a spectator at the Olympic Games, and I want to hear all about it.
I was, and it turns out that I was on television. I was talking to Thomas Bauer today, who's like, I saw you on television.
I didn't see you.
So,
were you with Snoop? Were you with my new favorite
No, I wasn't
friend?
with Snoop.
Okay.
I was behind the flags for one of the, for maybe more than one of the ceremonies, of the award ceremonies, of the medal ceremonies. And so I guess they cut to the flag and I happened to be behind it.
Well, and you had the cutest outfits on. Yeah, you had the cutest outfits on. I was like following you. You were sending me texts. You were giving me notes. I'm like, I can't be more jealous right now. I really want to be there. This is crazy. So tell us more.
So let me tell you the fabs. So first of all, my God, these people ride well.
Oh, yeah.
It was so inspirational. I mean, just stupid things like everyone's position is just extraordinary. Like their ears are over their shoulders or over their elbows or over their hips or over their heels. You can barely see an aid. I mean, did every horse go perfectly for every stride? No, they are horses. But in terms of the the quality of the animals was great, obviously. The quality of the riding was truly extraordinary. Mm-hmm. Now, let me tell you in terms of from where I was sitting. So the seats, and I went to the Olympics in Sydney, in Atlanta, in LA. I feel like I'm missing one. Anyway, London. The seats are so far away from the dressage court that you really, really can't see details. So I went and looked up some stuff online and went, oh, that horse's mouth was slightly open, or its lower lip flipped a little bit, or whatever. I mean, you could see their outlines. And this is me with my glasses on. It's not like I didn't have my glasses on.
I would have need glasses for sure.
So, I mean, you are very far away. So note to self and note to everyone listening, if you come to LA, first of all, bring a lot of water because it's going to be hot. But second of all, I'm going to be in your
living room. I'm bringing an air mattress,
as you should be.
And I'm coming to your living room.
Well, except it's going to be in Temecula, which is 3 hours from my living room. But that's okay. We'll work it out. No, definitely. But you've got to bring binoculars. If you want to see detail, you've got to bring binoculars. Because, you can see, and almost no one had them.
Oh,
and obviously the other thing, so here's the good and the bad. So you could certainly, there's nothing obstructing your view from the stands.
Okay.
But the stands were, and again, this has been consistent with every Olympics I've been to. There was no shade. It's not like going to VIP in Aachen where it's actually under shelter. There is no shade.
Ooh.
So, lots of sunscreen, lots of water, but it's worth it because you get to watch, I've never been to Aachen. I think Aachen would even be better, but you watch ride after ride after ride after ride.
Have you never been to Aachen, Patty? We're going. Patty,
you haven't taken me.
Oh,
you haven't taken me.
Next year.
Next year. Okay.
In Aachen.
All right. Say less.
You've heard of next year in Jerusalem. This time next year in Aachen. So good. So here were the kind of, to me, the highlights. Gosh, the little Polish horse, Maximizella, who looks like, it's amazing. It looks like a little fat tick. And it trots around. I mean, it's fat, but it trots around with that little happiest little expression on its little face.
Yeah,
with the most lovely rhythm. It's just, all I could think of, like everyone in the crowd, and I don't know how many people were there, 16,000 people, everyone was like, well, we're backing our trailer up at the arena.
Yeah.
For that
she
one.
Can get in there.
I'm sure that woman could buy all of Poland with the amount of money she could make for that horse she sold it, and deserves to. The training's beautiful. The horse is happy, happy, happy. And in general, I think the horses were happy, happy, happy. There weren't that many horses who had, ringing tails or something. Was every stride of everything perfect? No, it wasn't. But, it was better than I can ride.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also good.
So,
I think that's good too, though, when you watch that kind of event, you go to an event like that, you think like they never make a mistake. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Mhm.
They make
Yeah, they do.
mistakes in their
Oh yeah,
changes.
absolutely.
I think it's so
Right.
good. When I did go to Aachen with
Right.
the kids from the Dressage Foundation, I mean, that was one thing we noticed. I mean, there were mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think you
They're
think
not perfect.
Isabel never makes a mistake. Yeah, she does. It's not 100%. Like
But-
she makes mistakes.
So
And
here's,
she's
I'll give you one example.
Yeah.
Jessica on Delaria. Wow,
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's fluid. It's lovely. Take a look. If you look at it at the NBC online thing, and again, I couldn't see this from the crowd, but she does this. She counterbends the turns for the piaffe. Sorry, for the
Interesting.
passage, piaffe, passage. She
Mm.
has a little counterbend as she comes around the corner. And my guess is that's to make sure the mare stays even.
Solid.
But
Yep.
she's not wrapped
I do
around
it.
her inside leg around the corner. And I thought,
Yeah.
that's smart. The
Yeah, I
other
do
thing
that.
you can see, and you could see this and I love watching Grand Prix. I mean, the freestyle is fun, but I love watching Grand Prix because everyone is doing the same test, and it's a test I ride. Turns out I've ridden more than 130 times, weirdly,
Love it.
because whatever. But like the zigzag, super interesting. The people who do it really, really well essentially do the first zig, and as they go to make the change, they push the haunches a little to the outside so that the forehand is leading in the next half pass.
Well, and that makes sense
And
because
again,
that's the
you can
three,
look
right?
online.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but they do it in the sixes too. In the
Oh,
3,
okay.
6, 3.
Okay.
So each change, they prepare the change by. You can think about it as doing a shoulder 4, but you can also shoulder 4 the new direction. But you can also think about it as basically pushing the haunches a little bit out at the end of the half pass, and then doing the change so the shoulder starts first. So there's not a shoulder leading. So anyway, it's terrific. I mean, it was so interesting to watch. And there were a couple of other things like that where you're like, oh, that's why it looks so smooth.
Yeah, for sure. For
And,
sure.
And the horse, no horse is equally supple both directions, but these horses were so good. So here was my other exciting one. I remember Becky Moody when I lived in England and rode with Kira, and Becky was, I assume she was either a young rider or U25, she and her sister. And she was just, I mean, she doesn't know me, but I remember how good she was and how kind of like down to earth she was and what a good horsewoman she was. I remember this from when she was, clearly a kid or a young adult. And to see, I was so excited when she made the British team. Yeah. And my God, she got a medal.
And she was the rider that replaced Charlotte DeJarnache. So she came in a tough circumstance, right? Like nobody wanted to be Becky.
And she would not. Right. Well, I'm not sure if that's true, but for sure, no one was happy that Charlotte, did what she did and got ousted. I mean, that's right. She deserved to get ousted, and no one's happy she did what she did, including her, clearly. But anyway, but that's another. But I was so happy that Becky got it, and then she went bred that was born in her yard that she's done all the training on, and knocked it out of the park.
She did. She was amazing.
It was amazing.
She was amazing. I cried for her.
Look at if you look at the frame, the pole is the highest part. The horse is dancing along. Is it the best mover there? Nope. Doesn't matter. It is so consistent, so steady. Again, happy in its work. Puttering along, doing a Grand Prix as though it's kind of smoking dope and hanging out on the beach. And and again has this trust in her. I partially because it's known her all of its life, and a reminder. She's shown it. Indoors in London. She's shown it at Aachen. Yeah, so they've got some tough experience together. And it was phenomenal. So those were my two faves. Bar none. Then, of course, you get to watch Freestyle go, who looks stronger and better than she ever has. Wow. Elastic, powerful. Wow. Delaria, like a dancer. I've seen her before, but I thought her freestyle was better than I'd seen at the World Cup. Amazing. I thought she was more engaged, more through, using her back more. And again, just dancing along with invisible aids, like you read about in books.
Yeah. I love
Carl, I thought, rode as well as he's ever ridden. He used to ride, and again, back in the day before you guys were born, he rode with kind of a stiff back. I would say stiff arms. Not anymore. I don't know what he's done to make his back better, but he now rides with this softness that's really lovely to watch. And he's always had this lovely horsemanship so far as I've ever been aware. But now he kind of looks more comfortable on a horse. And in his first 75 Olympics, he looked to me like it was a little painful. And now it doesn't look that at all. And, so I think, again, like watching these people with these beautiful positions on horse, then Isabella and Wendy, that's going to be an okay horse when it's above 10 years old. Powerful, connected, could be, you look at it and go, it's halfway there. Like it's going to be a ton, wait for LA, right? Then it's going to be amazing. Yeah. Not that it's not amazing, right? But it's going to be amazinger. Here's what I thought was interesting about Glamourdale. The first time I saw him on video was at the WEG, and I thought, that horse has a walk for a solid 5, maybe a 4, possibly a 3. The walk was horrible. Guess what? She's improved the walk. By amazing. A lot. Mm-hmm. By a lot. And I'd be so interested to see the actual scores. I know I can look them up, but I haven't. I really want to see what the walk scores were. Because the first time I saw him, I think everyone was so awed by the canter that they gave her decent walk scores. Right. And it should have been a 4 or 5, 3, 4, 5, and then they gave her like a 6, 7. Okay. Even though it was horrible. But now it's really nice. And now I hope what they've done is thought, well, it's, because as you know, people don't judge what they see, right? People try to judge what they see, but they actually judge what they expect to see. So I wonder if their expectation was so much that, oh, he's got this not great walk, and that they didn't notice that the walk has gotten hugely better. Hugely better. So that's neat. It's so neat that like even people who are way better than you and I can ever be, and we're all like good riders, right? Right. Like that they improve over time, and that their horses get better and their horses get more powerful. There were a couple of things that I thought were a little bit wonky. I don't know what to say. Like there were some horses where the piaffe and passage were not just the hoof is supposed to be, according to FEI rules, like at the middle of the cannon bone or above, but it's not really supposed to be above the knee. Mm-hmm. And there were some horses who did that. And you don't know if they're freaks or if somebody's using kind of an odd training technique at home that may or may not be something you would like to see used. Mm-hmm. But obviously the horses, no one has a whip, right? And they're not doing anything funny in the arena. And maybe it's just the people, they're breeding these crazy horses. And, I ride carriage horses and they can get there. When you passage a carriage horse, their front feet are, at their knee. And, whereas on my normal warm bloods, they're not even close. So it could be that these horses are just, so extraordinary. Yes, but there was something slightly odd looking about it. And, there were a few horses who you just thought, wow, if their necks were lower, they'd be knocking their teeth out with their knees. And that's an aesthetic I don't totally love, as spectacular as it is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look dressage-y to me. Do you know what I mean? It looks circusy to me. That's just my aesthetic. Sure. I'm not telling you it's wrong or right. But in general, my God, when these people canter down a center line is cantered down. When they pirouette, they obviously everyone errs on the side of being a little too big than a little too small, but they have 6 to 8 steps around. Here's what they don't have, pretty much all of them. They don't have halts. The whole beginning and end halt thing seemed to have been missing from everyone.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's crazy.
Especially the final halt. The final halt was like, wow, my legs are in 4 different places. My haunches are in one direction, and my mommy has thrown her body around me and is hugging me. I seem confused.
Yeah.
Right. So, which is fair enough, right? You're emotional. And I think what happens is you're passaging up the center line going, oh my God, I'm in the Olympics. It's okay. Like I made it through. So I'm going to do kind of like, it's not even just an Anki drive-by halt. Like it's not, it's just like queued out somewhere. And I want to look at I want to look, because like any of us would be killed for those halts, right? But I totally get it. It's the Olympics. Like, oh my God, you finished at the Olympics. Have a moment of celebration without waiting 3 seconds.
Say less. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I thought, my impression is the judges weren't mean to it. I actually do want to look at the scores.
Yeah.
But, it's the Olympics. Have fun. Have your moment of celebration.
Have your moment. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Oh, yeah. So I thought, so I'm going to give you one other anecdote, and then I've got to scoot and teach a lesson, which there's something about the jump that I watched all the jumpers too. Oh my God. Also riding better than, anyone can dream of. Oh my God, Carl Cook. Wow.
No.
Wow. But here's what was interesting. Any one of the jumper riders who had more than 2 rails and thought, I'm not going to get a medal, withdrew.
Yeah.
So every single one of them, no, not every single, 2 didn't. All of the ones who were just like, it's a bad day, they don't need, it's a meter 50 plus.
It's crazy. And it was huge.
So
it was huge.
They're huge. They're like watching people jump mountains. And every single good horse person there, the horse is having a bad day. They're like, you know what? I'm not getting a medal. It's we're here for medals. If we're not getting a medal, I'm going to save my horse. And they did.
That's cool. Yeah.
That is not the case with dressage, right? We are not allowed to withdraw.
Yeah.
Without the judge's permission.
Something bad. Yeah, exactly. We can, but
the rule is, if you think your life is at risk, right? If you think it's dangerous, you can withdraw.
Or your horse is hurt.
But you can't withdraw because it's just going bad.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the deal. There were some horses there that were so upset that, to some extent, keeping them in the arena maybe would have helped. But to some extent, keeping the arena just was, it's just, they were just emotionally spent. Yeah. And not many of them. I would say 4 horses total of all of the 60 horses were like that. But in dressage, we don't just say, you know what, it's just not my horse. I'm not going to get a medal. My horse isn't with me today. Tomorrow's another day, and withdraw. Yeah. And the jumpers do. It's a different rule.
Yeah.
And it made me think maybe we should add. I don't think people should withdraw and they're coming down the center line. They don't think their score is good enough, right?
Right.
But if they feel like if they feel like it's not benefiting their horse to finish, I can see doing it. And I just thought, it's not our rule. And obviously we're not jumping fences. We're not going to hurt them by massaging up the last center line.
Right.
And if we are, we could withdraw. If we thought they went lame or if they got hurt or what, of course we can withdraw. But I thought it was an interesting difference in the 2 sports. And I sort of want to think maybe we should consider that difference for dressage. There you go. But I'll give you one other thing, which is I did VIP. I'm going to tell you, other than having no shade and it was incredibly hot. Here's the upside of VIP in France. You walk into the little VIP tent thing and they hand you, and I'm serious, they hand you Veuve Clicquot as you walk in.
Stop it. Oh, love it.
Totally.
Oh, don't tell me this. You know I wanted to be there.
You had a bottomless glass of Veuve Clicquot.
No, I wanted to be there.
Veuve Clicquot.
Why? That's so mean to me. I love it. That's so mean. I wanted to go.
Okay.
Yeah, just
I gotta
love
go.
It.
Well, next
Patty,
time we'll do the Olympics in Kentucky and do bourbon.
Say less. Say less, my friend. So how can our listeners find you online, my friend, if they want to hear more?
They can get me on Facebook at Patty Mayer or Patty Mayer Dressage, Patty.
Fantastic, Patty. Well, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Even under the best circumstances, travel is stressful for horses. We've all been there, stuck on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. You can make the journey knowing that US Rider is there for you. Get peace of mind on the road with US Rider's nationwide 24/7 roadside assistance coverage for both you and your horse. Join today at usrider.org.
Well, Megan, for the trainer tip of the week, we decided we would pop on and talk about regional prep. If you're going to the AECs, prep, now it's time. It's the end of show season and we're prepping. So tell me, how do you guys sort of work? Your regionals are actually probably about a month after ours. Yep. So what are you doing now? What are you prepping? What are you working on?
Well, last weekend I got my last qualifying score. I have 3 horses going.
Yeah, buddy. And you're
And
going to, where are you going?
I am going to St. Louis, Region 4.
Nice. Love it.
And the main reason is because of my baby horse. So she was a little bit late in her development, and I didn't want to go to Kentucky in the heat. And so I wanted another month and a half. And so all 3 horses are qualified. I have a Grand Prix horse, I have a small tour horse, and then I have my baby horse at 3rd level.
Love it.
So with my horses now, we did showing. We're all a little burnt out, so we're going on trail rides. We're trotting over poles, and about every other week, I just trot through, or I don't trot. I run through. I run through a test. And so, and we just really went back to basics, working on, I just saw my coach, Kathleen Rain. I drove down with 2 of my horses and had 4 lessons. And so it's great to have her eyes on my horses. And then now I'm going to go back to basics.
Do you virtually ride with her? Because she's based in California, right?
Right. So once a week I have a lesson, and Jen Cotillo comes to my barn once a month. And so she has eyes on me. And then usually Kathleen comes to the festival, so she gets to have her eyes on me. And then I don't see her until I head to California, because I train with her for 3 months. So it was really, really good. She finally got to see baby horse. And when we had left California, we had just started the flying lead changes, and now they're confirmed. It was so cool. Went across the diagonal, asked, and it happened.
So cool. I love that. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, so she is gonna peak right at regionals. That's my goal. I still, like, today I ran through the test, and I'm like, oh, we have more self-carriage, but we need a little bit more strength in the canter. So we're gonna go back to pole work and some trail riding.
Yeah. No, and I think that's really important to remember. So we actually we're really go time, because my event horses actually go next week to the AECs. So they are running through their tests. So same thing, like a couple of them we had a little schooling show locally last week, and they went there and we rode their test. We warmed up, rode the test. Then we got some information of kind of what is sort of the low hanging fruit. I will be honest, they were pretty darn good. Like if they were over 70%, both of them, and that went there. And the riders that didn't go this week, same thing. We warmed up and we rode the test. And ideally, we try to warm up in a separate location than the test. It's not always possible, but if there's a separate ring, and then you can sort of kind of get a drink of water, take a break, and then go down to the ring for showing, that is so important. So we did that. And I agree with you. Riding through the test, like, there's a skill of training, and that's so important. But then at the end of the day, you have to warm up and ride the test. And I think saying, like, she owns horses with me. Her name's Stanley, and she comes every Thursday. And I'm like, okay, it's test day. And she judges essentially the test.
Cool.
You know, she looks at the center line. She looks at the square halts. She can't do the super FEI stuff, but she still can tell me what it looks like.
Yep.
But there's some level of, like, you have to warm up and ride the test. And sometimes it's cold and they're tight, or it's hot and they don't want to move. Whatever it happens to be, that Thursday at 10 o'clock, I am warming up and riding the test.
And do you braid them and wear your coat?
When we go to schooling shows, yes. On the Thursday schooling day, no. Not typically. I mean, we just do it at home. But we do it, I mean, I do it not quite once a week, but pretty darn close.
Oh, like, that's brilliant.
I mean, well, I started doing that with her because she's a local judge. She owns the horses. She could really give me good input. And when you do it that much, I know everyone's like, well, what if they anticipate? You know, okay, if you're doing training level or you're doing novice or starter, they start to anticipate. But, you know, third level, fourth level, there's enough stuff in there that I think they need to know where they're going. I think that's important. You can always add in a circle or a transition or that kind of stuff, but there's a real skill to riding the test. And like you said, baby horse needed to go through the test. So again, we're a month ahead of where you are. We have everyone kind of finished their schooling shows. Everybody had a light week this week. And then for the regional horses, we actually have 2 more weeks. So everyone kind of took a deep breath this week, enjoyed sort of not stressing, because I think everyone was, to the point where everyone was a little burnt out. So I'm like, okay, everyone take a little deep breath. They're trained now. I think that's always important to remember. Like at this point in the season, they're trained, and I don't try to add anything new. I don't know about you, but not right now. Like we're 2 weeks out. Like they know their job. And so it is back to basics and back to center lines and back to riding corners and those little things that are gonna make that test better is what we work on.
And actually with a baby horse, like I'm getting in the mindset that we're doing PSG. We're not, obviously, but we're thinking about canter pirouettes, and like I like to be one level ahead. Obviously, I'm not going to start tempi changes because like she just learned the flying lead change, but all the other elements, and also getting a higher degree of self-carriage and collection, just thinking about that in my mind, instead of going, oh, we're going to regionals at 3rd level. I'm like, no, I'm thinking about next year. I'm thinking about the developing PSG. And this is just the stepping stone. So I think also training your mind for what's going to happen in the future or something harder makes regionals like, oh, we're just going to regionals.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it easier. And I think that's absolutely the strategy. It's like, okay, at this point you should be able to kind of run through that test. Point and shoot is what I call it. Like, can you point and shoot that test? Like go ride it. Done. 70%, again, 70% guys is 7s on everything, which is fairly good. It's not
your
even
center line.
and there may be things where, like maybe you're not good in the left pass or something. And you're like, hey, let's just try to get that a 6 or 5.5, let's try not to get a 3. And that's okay at this point, but trying to kind of work on those things. But I do think take a deep breath. Remember your horse at this point, you have already qualified, meaning you've done your test, right? So don't be afraid to take a deep breath, and just breathe. Know, hey, things are going to be okay. It's going to be fun. Don't get too stressed. I do recommend my riders really know their test at this point. Like that should be in your unconscious competence, right? You should be able to like pick up, and I should be able to at any point in your lesson be like, hey, tell me your test. Like it should be very easy at this point, not that you're struggling. And if you are struggling on your test, that's where you need to focus, right? I have had one rider and I adore her. And we've worked a lot this summer. We got her qualified with a reader. And then it is taking her a little bit of time. Shout out to her. I'm not going to say her name, but she knows she's listening. But I'm so proud of her because that became a real issue for us. And we knew it early. You know what I'm saying? And so we were able to handle it in the sense of we figured out what she needed to do, how she needed to, in her mind, think. She was just, she's wonderful, and she overrides everything and she overthinks it. And so it was like, just take a deep breath. And all I want you to do is go. And we went to the schooling show. I was like, just ride the test. I don't care where his head is. And now she can go in and ride the test. And it's that first 3. And that first 3 is hard.
It's a hard test.
I can't even remember it. I try to fake it that I know what's going on, but I'm looking. Like it's a tough test. So anybody riding first 3, may the force be with you. You got this. Like it's tough. You got it. So that's a tough test. And so if you did qualify with a reader, you really need to take a second and like, can I do it without a reader? So that's really important. So, but that's everyone. A lot of people do stress without a reader. So you need to practice that. But remember at this point, really take a deep breath, enjoy your horse, and get ready and have fun. It really is supposed to be fun. Regionals is great. We were talking literally about our decor today. We're like, how are we going to decor? One of the husbands, he is in charge of hospitality. He's like, and we have a Wizard of Oz theme at our regionals. He's like, oh, I've got a witch's brew for y'all. And I'm like, yes, talk to me. Bring me that. So I'm excited. So remember, it's supposed to be fun. Have a good time. Deep breath. You'll be great. Remember your test. And we wish you luck. So enjoy your regional prep. So cheers to y'all. Take I'm cheersing my wine glass to you right now. And we know you're going to do great. And as always, you can find our show notes and links to today's guest on our page at horseradionetwork.com. Search Dressage Radio Show. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
And my website is lindenhoff.com, and my email is lindenhoffllc@gmail.com. And we would like to thank our friends and show sponsors, Kentucky Performance Products and Savvy Feeders. If you'd like to support our show and the Horse Radio Network, you can do that through the auditor program found at thehorseradionetwork.com. Keep on kicking on until the next show. Talk to you guys soon. Woohoo!